Yeah, so this is class 6. Now, writing VHDL code is basically hardware description language. I hope the screen is visible to you, right? Hardware description language.
Yes, Asim.
Okay. Now, this language, when you write, you have to just know the structure. Some of you already have experience because you did some laboratory. Okay. Some of you have not. So, for everybody, I am saying. So, first of all, you have to determine some library. Okay. So, after that, I will write code. Why library? Because the library has different function, and you need to recall. You need to call it, and from what operation you want to do, based on the calling operation, the execution will happen. So this library is open source. You can build your own library, but IEEE standard already there. So generally we recall the IEEE standard 1664. So that standard basically we recall, and then we can write. It is not that we cannot create our own library. We can create. It is open source software, so there is absolutely no problem. But however, as it is already established and some of the standards is already there, so generally we also select IEEE standard mostly. Okay, if you do not like it, you can design your own library, so that's not a problem. But in our course, we will mostly consider IEEE standard. Okay, so that is the library one that you have to first declare, otherwise your program will not run. So whatever the program you will write, the first section library declaration, so that is important. So this is stage 1, library declaration. Declaration of library. So at the rate of IEEE basically. Okay, that means what type of package you want to install. I mean, you want to do like your math package, or your some logical package, everything. Okay? So that you need to declare first. This is stage 1. Now stage 2 is associated with the port declaration. Okay, that means basically this programming what you are doing is on the FPGA board, and FPGA board is open source. It has input output, and there is no specified input output. That means if a program you write that let us say A0, okay, A1 and A2 and A3, right? And let us say here B0 and B1, B2 and B3. Let us say in a program you define that A0 to A3 is basically input port, okay, and B0 to B3 is the output port. So that is possible, and also if you do not like it, vice versa is also possible. Like if you want that this A0 to A3 is output port and B0 to B3 is your input port, that is also possible. Okay, so it is not that it is a fixed input port or it is a fixed output port. So but as it is open source programming, you have to define what is the input port and what is the output port, and what are the program variables you want to use in your program. So that is called port declaration. Okay, that you have to do. This is the second stage of programming, that is port declaration. Okay, mostly your structure of the programming, first is library. Once library is finished, next go to port declaration. Okay, then port declaration, if it is over, then you have to go to architecture. The third section is architecture. So third section is architecture. So let me write. Okay, and the VHDL course that I mean the programming what I will teach, generally I follow the procedure like first I will write some example, from example you will learn. So the teaching methodology will be, I will write some example from the I mean write the program, so I can write an example. Okay, I will solve it, and from the example you will learn the technique. Okay, so this is one procedure of learning. Some courses are there, specifically in IISc Bangalore. If you go, okay, there is one course, same FPGA application to digital system. There is only one course available in IISc Bangalore. What they generally follow, they first discuss about the theory in details, and after that they apply those knowledge into practice. However, this technique is good. I am not suggesting that it is bad. Once you have a lot of theory in your mind, and after that you can apply your knowledge. Okay, that is one style of. But I generally prefer from the example. If you learn, then your memory, you can remember a lot of things. Okay, you do not need to go for a rigorous theory and the thing everything. It will take a lot of time, and then probably you will forget one when you start writing the code. So I find the example, the learning from the example, this procedure is easier. So generally I will follow this structure. Whatever the main concepts I want to convey, I will write code, and from the code I will explain the what is the basic philosophy behind this programming. Okay, so this style I will follow. Okay, but if you are if you can go to NPTEL, you can also learn from IISc Open. I mean, there is one course, you can also learn from there. Okay, there is no absolutely no problem. Okay, now architecture. So in the architecture we have basically two types of programming style. One is data flow programming, or sometimes we can say data flow model, and here we have behavioral model. Okay, so data flow model is very fast and accurate. Behavioral model is also fast and accurate, but however it has interdependency, means it has intermediate variable. But how in case of data flow model, there is no intermediate variable. There is input, there is output. Okay, only thing, there is a circuit that will execute, and the program will have, I mean, just it will be executed. The data flow model, there is no intermediate variable. It is quite simple. But when we talk about behavioral model, there is an intermediate variable. For example, when you have, let us say, we need to write a code for implementing combinational circuit. So in architecture, data flow model is enough. Okay, you do not need to go for behavioral model. But when you talk about the flip-flop application or the common sequential application, when there is a need of recalling a function or recalling an intermediate variable parameter, so there data flow model we cannot use. Okay, so in that case we need to use behavioral model. Generally we have in sequential circuit clock. Okay, clock, preset. Okay, so these are all the process variable. So whenever there is a process variable involved which is performing continuously, okay, let us say you need to add two number. Okay, so if you want to add two number, or if you do not like to add two number, all the cases for each selection, clock will be executed forever. Okay, so your clock signal will be continuous in nature, irrespective of the program what you want to do, either it is a add subtraction or addition or multiplication, what you need to do, irrespective of that, your clock function should be executed throughout the program. Okay, so in that case data flow model cannot solve it. Okay, in that case we need to use behavioral model, and there is some syntax is called process. Okay, so process and clock, that function you have to write. When you write this, that basically defines that the clock is a process which will execute continuously throughout the program, and after that you can use the clock event to control the program. And clock event, you know that clock event, either it may be a rising slope, okay, or it may be a falling slope. So you can have an edge triggered function, so you can write your code accordingly. So if it is a positive edge trigger, then we can add it, we can add two number. When the the clock is going from positive to negative, or negative edge triggering is happening, then you can assign that there will be subtraction of two number. That is possible, but in each of the selection, the clock should be processed simultaneously. Okay, so the point is that we have to declare library first, mostly IEEE library. Okay, and after that we need to define port, means in your program, to write your program, what are the ports you actually need to select. Let us say you need to add two number. Okay, so when you need to add two number, basically you need to have let us say 1-bit number. Okay, 1-bit number means 0 1 and 0 1, and so you need to add it. So basically you want that is a1, okay, and then b1. There's two number basically you want, and a1 can be 0 value and 1 value, b1 can be either 0 value and 1 value, or like that. Okay, but at a time 1. So basically 1-bit data. So if you want to add it, so what you need to do, that you need to declare that a1 b1 is the input port, right? So this two input is required, and after that there is a addition. Okay, so when there is an addition, there definitely there will be some sum. Okay, so sum will be one output, so output variable one output is required. And if you are interested to check the carry, so you need so another output. So that means two input you need and two output you need, that you need to declare here. Okay, so that is called port declaration. After that architecture, and hence this your program is actually complete. Means when you complete the architecture, or basically end it, end behavioral or end data flow or end of the program. Okay, so when you do that, your programming is complete. So this is the common architecture or common flow, basically the flow of program in VHDL we generally follow. Okay, so let us say, let us just write one simple code so that you can understand that what are the library, and that is also I need to mention what are the library we need to generally follow. Okay, there are a lot of libraries available, so if I write, it will take a lot of time. So as I already told you that I will I just follow the first procedure, learn from example. Okay, so that means let us say I want to just use and not gate and XOR gate at a time. Okay, so let us say I want to perform, so y, okay, so this is y1, let us say y1 I want to perform this is equals to a, okay, a and b, right, a and b, and XOR, that is a XOR gate, okay, a plus b. Okay, that actually I want, that is the first function. And let us say y2, that also I want to execute in the same time, not I want to a, that is a bar. Okay, so y2 equal to a bar and y1 equal to ab. Okay, XOR a plus b. Okay, that actually I want to execute. Okay, so that means see, when I need to have this operation, okay, that this function I need to execute writing using VHDL. Okay, using VHDL. So first of all, you already know that we do not we can do the same task using different type of chip, but we do not like to do that because it takes a lot of space and everything I already explained. So I will use VHDL language to run an FPGA board or to write a code in FPGA. Good. So this function, when I need to write, or for to achieve to this output, I need to write a code using VHDL. First of all, you need to check whether this function is a sequential or it is a combinational one. So you can see this function is basically a combinational circuit. There is nothing interdependency. So interdependency and memory point involved. So it is called combinational circuit. Okay, combinational. Okay, and already I told you, and when it is a combinational circuit, okay, when is no memory element involved, so you can use what type of program? Data flow program, right? So data flow. Data flow programming. Okay, and so let us start. We to do this program, what actually I need to have? You need to know the variables. So we need two variables output. Okay, so I am writing the output variable 2. 2. And what are the input variable? Input variable is 2. Okay, so let us say that output variable, as I have already and belongs to y1 and y2, and here it is belongs to ab. Okay, and for that I need to write a program. So let us start the program, and very easy. So an example. So what I can write, some of you already have experience because you have done your laboratory. Okay, but I will start from the beginning and fundamental, and slowly I will just make the things complex, and then you can understand. Okay, so let us start that I already told you that you need to define library. Okay, so library IEEE. So this thing you need to write in that Xilinx software. Okay, then you need to install some package. So I use library IEEE, under which we need to use some package. So what kind of package you need to use here? Basically we are using a digital circuit. So only thing is that the standard logic is sufficient. We need not to use any mathematical operation and all. We actually do not need here. Okay, so that's why simple. I need to use a simple standard logic. So use IEEE dot std underscore logic, then underscore 1164. So see, when you open your Xilinx software properly, then automatically the library will come. Okay, sometimes it will appear, sometimes it will not. So if it is not appear, if you see that your programming do not have it is not declared sufficient library in the beginning, you need to write it. Okay, so but most probably, okay, when you open it, the standard IEEE library IEEE and standard logic IEEE standard logic 1.64 dot all means all module you want to select. Okay, means under standard logic you need to select all, so that's why dot all. When you do that, you can easily solve the program. Okay, you can easily write the program because you have already taken sufficient thing for this variable. So you need to execute basically digital operation in using the for the combinational circuit. Two variables are required and two output variables are required. So for that, this library is sufficient. Okay, IEEE library, and I use IEEE standard logic 1164 dot all. Use is a syntax. Okay,
Excuse me, sir.
yes, yes.
So sorry to interrupt, but sir, which type of circuit you want to design
I do
from
not
this
want.
code?
I do not want. You see, the question is that very interesting question. You see, what you need to when you are writing a program, now you need to first select that which problem you need to solve. So in a question paper, it has been said that some your customer actually wants this operation. Okay, customer want this operation. Okay, and for that you need to write a program. That is the first beginning point. Now when you see that these operation you need to do, then definitely you need to evaluate that whether the function what you are writing for, whether it is possible by using a combinational circuit, or you need to use a sequential circuit, or you need to go for a state machine design. Therefore, when this equations what I have written, it is a very simple straightforward equation. You do not need any memory element. Therefore, combinational circuit can effectively solve this problem, right? That is the first point. You need to first evaluate. Okay, when you are happy, okay, you have done basically combinational circuit is required to solve this problem. Then the next question is what type of programming of architecture you need to select for if you want to use VHDL. So definitely I already told you, when you have combinational circuit, then you can go for data flow programming. Okay, you need not go for behavioral programming. Understand, that is the second stage of evaluation. So that means this program, when you are writing using VHDL, the second thing is that it can be done very easily using data flow programming. That is the conclusion. Okay, now third point is that okay, we are happy. Now next point is that how many input output are required to execute it. The answer is, you can see that you require y1 and y2. So output variable basically 2 is required. and in the input only A or B is there. So that means only two variables are required, A, B. So that means your chip, whatever the FPGA chip you will select, either Spartan 3 or Spartan 6, we need to select two input and two output. That's it. And you need to write your VHDL program using data flow programming model in the architecture, right? So that part is the first part. After that, I already told you that when you are starting your program using VHDL, you need to first declare your library. So since I only need input output here, okay, and they are all standard logic, basically they are digital, okay, this is not analog, A data, B data, all are digital data, okay. So in, let us say, in real time you already have analog signal, okay, you have some analog signal, so definitely there is an ADC converter, okay, ADC. So that digital data you will now going to connect, okay. So this is your task, this is not about FPGA, okay, that analog data conversion to digital format. But once you have digital format, then your VSDL or this board is actually, that the stage actually we are designing. So A and B, they are basically digital input here, and Y1, Y2 is basically output, right? So only to write this program, we need to only use standard logic, okay? Because all are logic function, either 0, 1, logic function, okay? Either you want to you want to achieve AND operation or operation, whatever you want to use, but they are all standard logic, right? So for that, what is a library? Library is similar that library IEEE, and under that what you want to use? You want to use standard logic and all module, okay. So use is a syntax. So use what? Under library IEEE, you want to use what? You want to use standard logic all module, okay. That part is already done. This is your first step. Am I clear? Uh,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now the next is, I already told you, you need to define your ports. The second stage is a port definition, ports. Okay. So since here I already told you that we have two input and we need had two output, right? So two input and two output. So let us start. So here the syntax is, use is a syntax, right? Use. Here the syntax is that entity, sometimes we say the ports definition is just entity, okay, that is the correct English word, entity. पोर्ट डेफिनेशन जहां पे होता है उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं एंटिटी, ठीक है. सो द थिंग इज दैट यू हैव टू राइट लाइक एंटिटी, sorry, spelling mistake, let me just erase. You need to write entity, entity, entity. Okay, after you write entity, then what you need to write, that is important. Entity of what? Let us say you name it, that is the what I can say, Maya. Let me write Mayank, Mayank. That means you need to write a project basically, right? So this one is the project of Mayank, let us say, okay. You can, if you do not happy with that, let us say that a digital function or digital function. It's basically a name by which we are calling the total output or our objective. So entity, so I will write, let us say digital function. So what I will write, digital, and that is, I mean, that is my, I am selecting. You can, if you do not like, you can select in your own, but whatever you select, that will be uniform. That should be uniform. Okay. So entity digital underscore and function, let us say. Okay. But this one, what you select, that will be uniform, okay, and you will know when I just complete the programming, that then you can understand, okay. So that digital function what I have taken here, that should be uniform throughout the program. So entity of digital function, what is the digital function? So this one is a digital function. So this is your digital function is, so basically you are declaring, right? So digital function is, Okay, that part is done. Now we are ready to write the other things like the input port. Okay, so what are the input port here? AB. AB is the input port. So I will write A. The color is very bad. Let me just change the color. This pink is maybe good. A. So A is what? Now the question, A is what? I already told you A is basically digital. Either it is 0, either it is 1. So what I will write? And all are input. So I will write their input for in. Okay. So in that what is in that VHDL input, when you have to define input, so input is actually in, and if you want to have an output, so you have to write out, OUT. Okay, just you first you remember this two. Okay, there are other things like in, out, and all other things are there, but slowly you will understand. Okay, so only if you declare input, if you want to declare input, so in, and if you want to declare output, so out. So here input, and you see this is one bit. Okay, it is not an array. So here this 0 and 1, they're basically one bit. Okay, this is not array, simple one bit. So for that you can write like this. What I am writing you can follow. So in standard logic you can write standard underscore logic. Okay, that you can write, or sometimes you cannot you sometimes you that standard logic also, if you do not like that, also you can do, like you can write here in bit. Here you can write or in bit. Okay, simple input and bit. So basically it's a bit file. So input and bit. Okay, that is also possible. If you know that you are only having a one scalar data, either it's 0 and 1, you can write in bit. Or if you are not sure about it, but definitely it is not an array, so you can write a simple input standard logic. Okay, generally I prefer to write standard logic because sometimes we are not confirm about the input data, so that can save you. Okay, so input standard logic. But however, I am saying that is also correct. If you write in bit, that is also correct. Okay. Now next is you need to define B. So B is for what? Can anybody tell me? Already I told you. Similarly, you can write. So it is also input and standard logic. Okay. So that is this two input I have defined. And that syntax always you remember. Okay. That semicolon you need to do. And this when you defining entity, that there is no semicolon. Okay. Now next is output. So what is the output? I have taken y1 and y2, right? Okay, very good. So y1 I will write out, and out is also a standard logic. It is not an array. And y2 is also so semicolon or the semicolon. So when you are you just complete this stuff. When you are writing your code in VHDL, you complete this stuff first. After that, you need to write. Already I told you it's basically port. So you just do this port in bracket. Just you complete the bracket, and here you complete the bracket, because here you are ending the bracket. Okay, so let me just take a red color. So port, they are all port, right? A and up to this. Okay, and then close the bracket, semicolon. Okay, so similarly, when basically what you are doing, you are basically writing port. I am writing here, you see port, and then you are writing something. Okay, some comma, some semicolon, something semicolon, some semicolon, and finally semicolon. So this is the syntax. Okay, so in the input side, I have written A is the input standard logic, semicolon. B input standard logic, semicolon. Y1 is the output standard logic, semicolon. Y2 is the output standard logic, and then bracket close, and then final semicolon. Okay. like this. Okay, so when you complete it, then you have to write end entity. Okay, so you have basically completed the entity part. So end what? End entity. Entity means what? For that digital function, basically that part you are completing. So input output definition is now complete. So for what? This input output definition is for what? Is for digital function. So end, what can I write here? Digital function, and same thing you have to write underscore function. Okay, so you see you have already used in digital function here, you are also using digital function here, then semicolon. Okay, so hence your entity part or port part is complete. Up to this your port part is complete. So this is your library part, the stage 1. This is your stage 1, and after that this one is a stage 2. Okay, stage 2, and then the last stage, okay, which is the important stage, the architecture. Okay, so to define architecture, what you have to write? You have to write architecture of architecture. Then architecture, when you write, after that you have to declare what type of function you need to use here. Okay, so function means I am going to use a data flow programming. Okay, so I will write architecture data flow model underscore model. Okay, so this is the important sentence. Always when you are confirmed that you have you can solve this problem using your simple combinational circuit, then you need to use this architecture data flow model. Always very much important. Okay, so data flow model I am writing accurately. You have to write data data flow flow underscore model. Okay, that thing you have to correctly write. So architecture data flow model of what? Of same ये digital function. Okay, जिसके लिए तुम कर रहे हो. So let me write in different color of digital system, right? So digital underscore function. Okay, is को दूसरा कलर देता हूँ क्योंकि वो दूसरा सिंटैक्स के अंडर आता है. Is, so this is the digital function. Okay, and data flow model. So basically to implement, you see the important sentence, the architecture, you are defining the architecture, and architecture of what? Architecture of digital function. Okay, and to solve the architecture of digital function, what model you are using? You are using data flow model. Is, and then you need to begin the program. So this is your main program. Begin, and here first of all it is y1 is equals to, and here equals to is not like that, it is equal. Okay, so it is not like that. Here equal to means you are should assign like this. Okay, this is a symbol you need to follow. So y1, let me erase. So y1. Okay, now anybody tell me that what can I write here for y1? What should I write?
We write the complete equation A and B.
Yes, I can write. You can go for this A and B, then XOR. Okay, A or B, that I will write. So see how I can write. So first of all A and B I will write. So bracket, first of all bracket. Okay, so A, then and, then B, bracket close. When you just complete the first, let me take another one.
सर एंड से कैपिटल होगा ना क्योंकि एंड गेट कर यूज कर.
A and D capital होना चाहिए ना.
You have to remember very important question. See, you have declared A capital here, you have declared B capital. If you declare A, B small like A and B, then same thing you need to follow here, right? Same
So the
thing.
function and also needs to be in capital,
Yes, sir.
right?
And is yes, sir, capital.
A, A, A
And B.
and D in
No, no,
capital.
it's not case structure. No, no, you can simply write just A and D, no
Sir,
problem.
and is and get or others.
And gate means this gate, this one.
ये सर मीन्स जो आप सर एंड यहाँ पे लिखे हैं ये सर एंड गेट को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है या जस्ट एंड है
नहीं नहीं नहीं, एंड गेट को रिप्रेजेंट कर,
तब तो सर कैपिटल में होना चाहिए ना
कोई दरकार नहीं है, तुम जैसे यहाँ पे लिख, क्योंकि VHDL में कोई ये केस सेंसिटिव
अच्छा
नहीं है।
केस सेंसिटिव नहीं है ओके सर ओके
तो A, whenever you are writing and, that means and you see you are writing and for what? You are writing and under the standard logic, na? So when you write under standard logic and, by default it means basically AND gate, right? If you are writing
यस
and,
सर
let us say you are writing and, but your library is like what? Arithmetic, okay? So that and is meaningless there. Okay, but since we are using standard logic, under that library and means AND gate. Okay, so like that. If you like to write in capital word, you can write, but it is not case sensitive. Why to tense make, I mean, make life complex? So just write AND. Okay, A and B. Now after that, what is the thing? Let me see. XOR, I
XOR.
think. XOR. Okay, you can write XOR. XOR, XOR. Okay, then you can give one bracket and
ए और बी
A, A
और
or
बी
B, huh? Or B. Okay, very good. So A or B. Okay, and then comma, you just complete the semicolon. That is y1, and y2. Y2 you should assign of
Not A.
not something, not A. Very good. So
यस सर
not,
नॉट
not A. Just write not A. Okay. And after that, when you just happy with that, okay, you have already written your program. What is the, what you need to execute, and then you need to end it, right? So end what? End data flow model. Okay, so end data flow model. Okay, and then semicolon, complete. So this part is the architecture part. Okay, as this is your fast programming, so the architecture program is very the length is very low. So when you go for more complex programming, the length will be large. But fundamentally, okay, the architecture is similar. Okay, the programming style, okay, not architecture, programming style. So you have to follow stage one. After that, you have to go for the stage two, and then after that, you need to go for stage three. Okay, and hence you are ready to compile, and then you need to check for your what type the output that function. When you just execute it, let me just write here. When you are completing this program, what will happen? Okay, you have to synthesize, right? So after you written this program, you need to synthesize. So once you synthesize, you will have a digital circuit. By default, it will be the task of the compiler to generate that circuit, and then you can simulate to check whether you're exactly getting the performance what you're expected from the system or not. And after that simulation is okay, you're happy with that, then you can generate a bit file, .bit file, and then that bit file can be, you can flash to ROM. Okay, flash to ROM of your board. Since we are now doing in online, if it is offline or real hardware, I mean अगर कॉलेज खुला रहता तो उसमें हम बोर्ड लेके जाते और जो .bit फाइल है उसको हम ROM में फ्लैश कर देते डायरेक्टली यूजिंग योर JTAG केबल, GTAG.
So what is the cost of Spartan 3 boards?
देखो मेरा, so the board, what actually I am having to teach this subject is very low cost, is around 3500, 3500।
अच्छा 3000।
इसमें मुझे मिलता है 20 इनपुट आउटपुट पोर्ट, 20 अराउंड 40 इनपुट आउटपुट पोर्ट मिलता है मुझे, ठीक है। एंड कोई भी पिन को हम PWM के तरह से यूज कर सकते हैं। तो बेसिकली 20 इनपुट आउटपुट पोर्ट को हम PWM की तरह ही यूज कर सकते हैं, ठीक है। और उसमें एक ही उसमें शायद फ्रीक्वेंसी है अराउंड 30 to 40 मेगाहर्ट्ज अराउंड, मैं भूल गया, ओके। So that board I am having, okay, that also I will show around some class, maybe some, if I find if I can record some video, okay, to flash that program, I can show you that board and component, okay, and how at least we have LED. I cannot show you through DSO programming, but I can show you that there is a LED, 7 LED है, उस LED को प्रोग्राम कर सकते हैं। थोड़ा रनिंग लाइट और एक को बंद करना, एक दूसरे को ऑफ करना, तो दैट पार्ट आई कैन डू, okay. So if I can manage to go to college, so I can bring and I can record something, so I can show you, okay. Let me try whether I can do it or not. Okay, anyway, so the step is that when you run the program, when you complete the writing of the program, you need to just compile it. You have to see that whether there is a problem of syntaxing or not, and then you need to synthesize it, and you need to check the circuit and simulate it. If you are happy with the simulation, then go for bit file generation, and then you can flash the bit file to your ROM using JTAG cable, okay. To the particular FPGA board, either board whatever you are using, either Spartan 6 or Spartan 3, based on that it will be selected. Okay, and most important part, what I actually forgot to mention, when you write this, when you complete that programming, there will be just some score, that compiles score. I don't know whether you have seen or not. Some compiling score, it will show compiling score. It is very much important, compiling score. So in that compiling score, you will find that it will show that 100 transistor is used out of, let us say, 10,000. You know that in your, let us say that you have selected Spartan 3E. So mostly 10,000 or more than that amount of transistors are available in the particular board. And when you write the program, after the execution, it will show you that compiling the score, it will show you that 100 these transistors are used out of 10,000. So how much percentage into 100% if you write, so it's around how much? So 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, so 1%. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, yes, so around 1%. So it is good. That means when you are programming, what you are actually compiling and then you are executing, if your processor is used the transistor 1% of the available, then it is good. Up to you can go for 60%, okay, 60 to 70%. Then there will be no glitch and nothing will happen exactly. Your performance will be very good. So when you have a compilation score, you need to check that what kind of percentage your CPU is using, okay. So if it is your CPU usage is 1%, that means it is very good. If your CPU is around around approximately 60 to 70%, up to that you can go, but you should not go for 80 to 90%. That means your processor is heavily burdened, so any times it may mal-operate. So generally in our programming, whatever will follow, in normal practice, it is maximum 60 to 70% we actually load to the processor, or given load to the processor, okay. And the similar program, if you do it using FPGA, okay, it will have a more memory usage, okay. If I compare, this is for your FPGA. If you write the similar program using DSP embedded C, and let us say I have a 1024 KB memory of ROM, maybe to write a simple code you can have around 300 KB memory. So the memory usage wise, DSP is actually very bad. So that's why people currently working really hard to match with the FPGA, okay, because FPGA you can see the same program you can do a 1% utilization, but here lot of memory actually usage and utilization is very high. So that is the problem. If you solve the same problem using a DSP board or using FPGA, you can see the FPGA is 1%, maybe it is go to 30 to 40%. So that is actually bad, okay. Okay, is that clear? From the next class, maybe I can write the same program in this Xilinx also. You can write, you can try.
Yes, yes, sir. Sir, where you have selected, sir, can you please scroll up? Just more. Yes, yes, here. Sir, in this place, you have used input standard logic. Sir, if we have uh, flash, if you want to flash a program in FPGA board, then we have to write the port number in place of a standard logic.
See, very good question. So when that here, let me just explain. So here I have taken A as the input logic, right? So A is the input standard logic and B is the input standard logic. Very good. You do not have to change any programming. There is something called, output window, okay, or mapping window. Mapping. In that mapping, you have to write that this A is for maybe 32, because it is available in the data sheet. Okay, so 32 pin number may be for A0 pin, and B you have to assign for maybe other pin like 33. So that is for, this is for A1. Okay, so physical line A0 A1, but A0 A1 is not same. You cannot write A0 maybe you have to go for data sheet. Okay, so in the data sheet it has mentioned that 32 number is actually corresponds to A0, and 33 may be for A1, and that mapping window you have to write. After that you have to compile. Okay, so when
Okay, sir, got it.
uh, so let us say, very good question, because if you write this program and after that if you generate a bit file and then you flash, it actually will not work. Why? Because you have not mapped properly, because input standard logic, but that is okay. But what is the pin number? You have not assigned it. So that's why in the mapping window or output window, okay, there is a window in that Xilinx board. That window you have to declare, okay, A is for what and B is for what, and similarly y1 is for what and y2 is for what. When you declare, then only, if you just compile it again and generate bit file, then you can give 0 to 5 volt in the pin number corresponding A0 pin number and A1 pin number, and you can see that correspondingly output y1 and y2 it is changing or not. And you can select an LED here, y1 y2, you can select LED to see whether it's working or not. Or also A and B, what input, physical input, you can take a press button. There is a button, either you press it, so it will be just high. If you just remove it, it will be 0. So that also you can select. Okay, there is absolutely no problem. But in real time, generally this 0 to 5 volt, 0 is for 0 and 5 volt if you give, so that will be for 1. Okay, that is the input, and the output you can give it to LED to check your program, or physically you can give it to any output. So if you have a DSO in your with you, DSO, then you can connect the corresponding probe to the particular pin and you can see the output is changing. Okay, so that you can physically verify in the laboratory, or if you have a DSO. If you do not have, you can assign to LED, because LED you can see that whether light is glowing or not. Okay, I hope I have just given a very basic and fundamental brief about what are the structure and how to start programming using VHDL. Okay, if you have any question, you can ask me. And see, I already told you that I will follow the procedure. I will write example. From the example you will learn. Okay, so that will be better, and you can remember in a lot of days. I generally do not follow a lot of theory and then after that it is not, I do not like it. But if you say that I can change, but it's up to you, what you suggest. I
No,
think
sir, sir, जैसे पढ़ा रहे हैं सब लिस्ट है.
ठीक है, तो धीरे धीरे कॉम्प्लेक्स जो कॉन्सेप्ट है धीरे धीरे कॉम्प्लेक्स होता जाएगा. तो आज का जो सिंपल हम लोग डेटा फ्लो प्रोग्राम के ऊपर हम लोग बोले, I already explained about the data flow model. Okay, and just simple inbit and outbit or standard logic that I have done. I have not used any array. Okay, maybe slowly I can use for array programming, maybe array multiplication, addition. Okay, that also will slowly go. Okay, so Okay, we'll meet in the next class. I request you can run the program in the Xilinx project file, and there are a lot of YouTube video. There are a lot of videos are available. How to, after writing the code, how to synthesize the code and how to compile it, and then to see. Okay, you can do it. Okay, it's not a big task. I hope you have also done in the laboratory also, so it will be not a problem. So you please practice, okay, and maybe in the next class I will see that what are the things you are getting. Okay.
Yes, sir, ये PDF सर भेज दीजिएगा सर.
हाँ, sure, I'll send. I will send. There is no
Sure.
problem.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we'll meet maybe not tomorrow, is no class, day after tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so bye bye, have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.